Good afternoon and praise the name of the Lord. I trust you are well kept of God. It is such a blessed Sunday that God has given us, that we may rejoice and be glad in Him. David said that I was glad when they told me, let us go to the house of the Lord. There is no better place like in the house of the Lord. In the life we are living without God, it becomes a bit difficult. We need God in all our undertakings because without God, we just cannot survive. I was thinking about speaking about a certain topic on grief and loss. There is a misconception that when you talk about loss and grief, it's all about people that have lost their loved ones through death, through other tragic events. But loss and grief is a very wide area because in our normal lives, you find that very many people are going through these losses, different losses. And the same way somebody that has lost a loved one goes through the grieving and loss process is the same way somebody that has lost a job, lost a relationship, lost maybe connections, even loss of yourself in the process of discovering yourself is still some form of loss. And loss is not easy. Dealing with loss is not easy. It is a bit difficult, but it is important to get to a point of awareness. Know that you are dealing with this, you're dealing with this loss, and know that it is your responsibility to allow yourself to feel the weight of the loss, accept that you lost. The first step towards any healing is acceptance. And unfortunately, most people are stuck to acceptance. They are not able to accept that they are undergoing a certain loss. Maybe you lost a job, but your system is not able to believe that you really lost the job. You lost a relationship, your system is not able to accept that you lost that relationship. That moment you shall discover that you lost, or that moment you shall get to accept that you lost that something that you lost, even a loved one. That moment that you get to accept that you lost that person, you lost that job, you lost that opportunity, you lost that relationship, that is the very beginning of healing. And the moment you accept that you lost something, now you take full responsibility, that it is your responsibility to get back to where you are. You may not fully recover, and grieving process is very much personal. It may take time, it may even take a lifetime, but it is your responsibility as the person that has undergone loss to know that you have to heal through it, because you can't live wounded. There are things you may never change, and if you keep thinking about things that you never change or things that you cannot change, instead of moving on, you get drained and it makes you stagnated. You are not able to move on. Now, there are, from few experiences that I've gone through, there's something that I've realized about grief. Psychology describes about various models of grief, and various people that described how to go about grief. But there is one that excites me, and this psychologist known as Kubler-Ross was able to come up with stages of grieving, and he was able to talk about how once you've lost something, there are various stages that you go through, and you must be very patient with yourself and get to a point of self-awareness that you know, I'm going through this, and this is why I'm going through it. Kubler-Ross talks about the first step being denial. The moment you lose something, you get to a point of denying. You're not you're not in a point of accepting that it has happened. That is denial. That is why if somebody receives news of death, news of loss, the first step will be surprise, shock. That cannot be happening. You cannot do this to me. That is a point of denial. Then after denying for some time, the person gets to the stage of anger. Getting angry with everyone, everybody, including yourself. At that point, one may become very irritable. You may not be easily understood by others because your system is trying to internalize the loss. At that time, it's important to understand yourself, be patient with yourself, and be aware that you are vulnerable at the moment, so that anger does not make you make decisions that you may later regret. Then the third step we have is bargaining. And bargaining is where now your system starts maybe feeling like, okay, by the way this thing happened, there is nothing I can do about it. Your emotions are starting now to accept. Through this bargaining period, one may appear very lonely, one may appear withdrawn, because at that point the system is trying to assimilate what is happening in their environment. And then after going through the bargaining period, some people may go through the fourth stage, which is depression. And depression is where you are not able even to control your emotions, or your emotions go overboard. Because now you have seen it's the reality. For sure, I lost this person, I lost this job, I lost this relationship, and life has to move on. At that point, it becomes very hard to accept that really that is what happened. But when one is going through depression, it may take some time, it may take days, it may take years, it may even take some time. But if the necessary intervention is done, or the person is intentional about healing, the process may take a short time. And finally, there is what we call acceptance. At that point, the person accepts that for sure this has happened, there is nothing I can do about it, and they are able now to move on because there is nothing else they would do about it. But before getting to acceptance, it's usually a very, very hard journey, but it's a very necessary journey. My advice to anyone that is going through any form of loss is be patient with yourself, be aware of your feelings, and allow yourself to feel, to allow yourselves to feel the loss, process the emotions so that you may heal. Unprocessed emotions may lead to complicated loss or complicated grief, which becomes or takes a long time to heal than the normal grief. So grieving is personal. To those of us that are going through losses or maybe grief, be patient. Nothing is permanent on this life. Even us, one day we shall leave. But we must stay strong, so that we are able to face every new day with strength. Bye. Thank you.